Hi, it's David from Light Owl. I'm here with Daphne. And yeah, so Daphne, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. So firstly, how was your property before we, added the lights and did everything? And, what made you decide to reach out to us?
Okay, it was dark. Actually, it wasn't too dark. We'd done some lighting ourselves. Some was here when we moved here 15 years ago, and for quite some time we've been talking about doing something about it, and finally we did. And we called you guys. I had one other company come in, and you get a vibe from people, and I just thought, well, no, I better find somebody else too. And I just went online, and there you were, and your reviews were fantastic. It's a good start.
Yep.
And so on you came, and it was great. It
Awesome.
was when you came, you weren't pushy, you weren't aggressive, but you obviously had some ideas, which really helped me because I had no idea what we should do. So yeah, went from there.
Nice. Were you skeptical at all about us?
No.
No, nothing? Okay.
No, because when you came in and you listened, and you then kind of rolled with it and made suggestions, and as I said, you weren't going, well, I really think you should do this, so no, I didn't feel any way that way at all. So
Oh, nice. Well,
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
yeah.
Okay, so how would you say your property's been since we've done the backyard, since we put in all the lighting and whatnot? And
It's been great. There were a couple of spots that you had actually talked about and said, oh, we can do them later, and so now we are, which is great. Because I know I said to you, I don't want it to look like Disneyland. I was afraid it was going to be lit, but not at all. But it was great the way you did do that, and we had a look at it, and you look around and see what little things you want to change, and so very minor, but yeah, no, it's been wonderful. We've had many positive comments.
that's good to hear. Yeah, you have such a nice backyard that's set up perfectly from your master bedroom and your living room that just overlooks the backyard. Have you noticed any difference when you're in the home now, looking out or anything like that?
Well, I have. That we sit inside with our lights out all the time, so that we can see the outside more than the inside.
Right.
And the
Okay.
other good thing is, all the way it's done, we're in kits, and it's tight quarters, although it's a decent sized lot, but it doesn't bother any of the neighbors. They're all pointing in the right direction. I checked with them, and
There's no light
which is
pollution
great.
spilling off to your
That's
neighbors.
it. Yeah, it keeps it.
Contained.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, which is great, because I was a little concerned about that to start with, just because we like to be friendly with our neighbors, not have
Definitely.
lights blaring into their bedroom windows. So
Need to get along with everyone.
yes, yeah, so that's worked very well. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And so how would you say is your overall experience with us, and would you recommend us?
I would absolutely recommend you. Yes, no, I think you've got a great approach. You weren't trying to talk me into things I didn't want, and your artistic sensibilities I felt were in line with mine. So that's important. I think you realize that you don't want someone coming in with all their own ideas that don't mesh with your own. So no, highly recommend you guys. You're just great, and on time. As I said, you came whenever you said you were going to, and we'd set it ahead a bit because we were away, and it all worked out really, really well. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, and had such a pleasure working on your property, and looking forward to putting in more lights in the
Doing
future.
my front yard. Absolutely. That's next.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, David.